There's a silent war raging inside many of us every day. Not a war of swords or battles, but a war against exhaustion, overwhelm, and the crushing weight of burnout. You might feel like you're constantly fighting fires, deadlines, expectations, distractions, and no matter how hard you swing your blade, the battlefield keeps shifting beneath your feet. But what if I told you there's a way to fight smarter, not harder? A rule forged in the fires of ancient discipline that turns this chaos into clarity and drains the poison of burnout from your soul. This is not about pushing harder or working longer. It's about a principle so simple, yet so profound, that it has guided warriors through the darkest storms and can guide you through your own. Imagine if you could move through your day with calm precision, energy reserved not wasted, focus sharp as a katana's edge. What if the key to conquering burnout wasn't found in rest alone, but in a way of being, an approach that teaches you when to strike, when to pause, and how to wield your energy like a true master? Today I'm going to share that ancient rule, the timeless secret that prevented warriors from burning out on the battlefield, and how you can wield it in your modern life. Burnout doesn't just happen because you work too much. It's because you fight every moment as if it's your last, as if the next move must be a victory or defeat. But true mastery, whether in battle or life, comes from understanding rhythm. There is a pulse, a natural flow, and to survive, you must learn to ride that wave, not crash against it. This rule, this way of living, is about knowing your limits without surrendering your strength. It's about harmony, balance, and the courage to walk away from the fight at the right moment, only to return when your spirit is sharp and your purpose clear. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the secret weapon that separates fleeting effort from enduring greatness. And when you adopt this principle, burnout ceases to be your enemy because you become the commander of your own energy, not a victim to the chaos. Think about the times you felt completely drained. Maybe you pushed yourself through long hours, fueled by caffeine and sheer willpower, telling yourself just one more task. Or maybe you felt stuck in a grind with no end in sight, your passion smothered under exhaustion. This is the moment most people falter. But the rule I speak of flips this experience. It teaches you that energy is like water. It can flood and drown you if uncontrolled, or it can carve mountains and create life if channeled rightly. You must become the master of this flow. You do not waste your energy on battles that do not serve your purpose, nor do you allow the noise of the world to dictate your pace. Instead, you cultivate a steady flame within, one that can burn bright through storms and calm days alike. Now, before you think this is just another pep talk, listen closely. This rule is not about denying the struggle or pretending life is easy. No, it is about embracing struggle with a calm mind and a disciplined heart. It demands honesty. Honesty with yourself about your limits, your priorities, and the battles that truly matter. Imagine a warrior who charges headlong into every fight, never resting, never pausing, only to fall exhausted and broken. Compare that to the warrior who chooses their battles, conserves strength, and moves with a clear purpose. Who do you think wins in the long run? This is the essence of the rule. Not all battles deserve your energy, and recognizing which battles to engage in is the true mark of strength. This principle doesn't just prevent burnout, it builds resilience. It creates a life where you're not just surviving but thriving, where your efforts are sustainable and your spirit unbreakable. You develop the patience to wait for the right moment to act, and the discipline to walk away when the moment is not right. It's a rhythm that lets you fight fiercely and rest deeply without guilt or fear, and it's available to anyone who chooses to learn it, no matter the chaos around you. This rule at its core is about presence, being fully here, fully engaged without wasting energy on what you cannot control. In the heat of battle, a true warrior doesn't flail blindly or throw themselves against every challenge with reckless abandon. Instead, They observe. They listen to their surroundings. They feel the pulse of the moment and respond with precision. This is how burnout creeps in for most people, when they lose sight of the present and drag their worries, fears, and distractions into every action. But when you cultivate presence, you become aware of your energy reserves, your mental clarity, and your emotional state. You begin to recognize when you are pushing too hard and when it's time to step back and recover. This kind of self-awareness is a skill, and like any skill, it requires practice, patience, and discipline. It's not something you magically wake up with, but something you build day by day, moment by moment. There's a famous saying that goes something like this: "The warrior who knows when to fight and when not to fight wins every battle." This is not about avoiding challenges or shirking responsibilities. It's about discerning the battles that will truly move you forward and those that will only drain your spirit. Imagine carrying a heavy sword all day. Sometimes it's necessary to wield it in battle, but other times you need to rest your arm lest it grow weak. Your energy is the same. If you swing it at every distraction, every demand, every unnecessary worry, you'll soon find yourself too tired to face the battles that actually matter. Instead, choose wisely. Save your strength for what builds you up, for what aligns with your purpose. When you fight only those battles worth fighting, you conserve power. And with power comes freedom, the freedom to act with clarity and confidence rather than desperation. Now, how do you actually practice this in your everyday life? It starts with boundaries. Not the walls that isolate, but the gates that protect your energy and your peace. Saying no isn't weakness, it's courage. It's the courage to honor your own path instead of getting lost in the noise of others' expectations. It's about knowing that your value doesn't come from how much you do, but from the quality of your presence in the things you choose to engage with. When you set clear boundaries, you create space for rest, creativity, and growth. You allow your mind and body to heal, and you return stronger. This is not a one-time action, but a daily commitment to yourself. It requires humility to admit you cannot do everything, and strength to say, "This is where I stand, and this is what I will protect." Burnout is often a sign that we've forgotten this ancient wisdom. We get caught in the illusion that productivity equals worth, that exhaustion is a badge of honor. But true mastery teaches us something different, that a well-rested mind and a calm heart strike harder and truer than a restless soul, burning at both ends. When you adopt this rule, you shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance of energy, time, and purpose. You realize that rest is not a luxury, but a strategy. You begin to see your life as a series of cycles: work, rest, reflection, and action, all flowing together like water, each phase necessary to sustain the next. This cycle, this dance, is where the true power lies. When you honor it, burnout loses its grip. You become like a river that flows steadily, carving its path not through force, but through persistence and wisdom. You learn to recharge not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. You find joy not in endless hustle, but in purposeful effort and meaningful rest. And the beautiful paradox is that by slowing down and conserving your energy, you actually become more effective, more creative, and more unstoppable. It's easy to get caught up in the rush of modern life, the endless notifications, the pressure to be on 24/7, the constant demand for more. But this rule reminds us that we are not machines designed to run endlessly without pause. We are living beings with rhythms, cycles, and limits. To ignore these is to ignore foundation of strength. But to honor them is to build a foundation of strength that no external force can Imagine a warrior who sharpens their blade every day before battle. They don't simply charge into the fight with a dull sword, hoping to win by sheer force. They prepare, they rest, they sharpen, and then they strike with deadly precision. Your energy and focus are your blade. Sharpen them daily, guard them fiercely. When you do, you won't just survive, you'll thrive. You may wonder, how do I find this balance when the world feels like it's pulling me in every direction? The answer lies in simplicity. Strip away the noise, the distractions, and the unnecessary burdens. Ask yourself, what is truly essential? What aligns with my values and my purpose? This is not about neglecting responsibility, but about choosing responsibility wisely. It's about fighting the battles that matter, the ones that push you toward your goals and away from burnout. Thus, when you have clarity of purpose, everything else becomes clearer. Your energy is no longer scattered. It flows toward a single point, like a focused beam of light. This is where the power of the ancient rule shines brightest. It helps you focus on what matters and let go of what doesn't. Another vital part of this rule is acceptance. Accepting that you are human, that you have limits, and that rest is not failure. In a culture that glorifies non-stop hustle, this can feel radical. But the greatest warriors knew that accepting their humanity was not a weakness. It was the first step to true mastery. When you accept your need for rest, your need to recharge, you remove the shame and guilt that often come with slowing down. You embrace a deeper truth, that growth is a journey, not a sprint. You learn to respect your body, your mind, and your spirit as the most precious tools you have. You treat them with care, not cruelty. This acceptance also opens the door to mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in each moment. Burnout thrives in distraction and autopilot. When you cultivate mindfulness, you anchor yourself in the here and now. You notice the signals your body sends, the tension, the fatigue, the hunger for rest, and you respond with kindness and wisdom. Mindfulness is not just meditation or sitting quietly. It's a way of living that transforms every action into a moment of awareness. With this awareness, you become the master of your energy rather than its victim. You learn to pause before reacting, to choose your battles consciously, and to conserve your strength for the fight that truly matters. When you live by this rule, life changes. You start to see challenges not as burdens, but as opportunities to practice discipline and wisdom. You develop a calm confidence that doesn't rely on external validation, but comes from within. You become like a calm sea, unshaken by the storms on the surface, because you know how to navigate the depths. Your focus sharpens, your creativity flourishes, and your resilience grows. Burnout becomes a distant memory, because you no longer waste your energy in reckless battles. You fight with intention, and you rest with purpose. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds great in theory, but how do I actually put it into practice? How do I train myself to follow this rule when life feels relentless? The answer lies in small, deliberate actions repeated consistently over time. Just as a warrior doesn't master the sword in a day, you won't master your energy and focus overnight. Start by observing yourself without judgment. Notice when your energy dips, when your mind feels cluttered, when you're tempted to push through fatigue simply out of habit or pressure. This awareness is the first step toward change. Next, practice the art of pause. When you feel overwhelmed, take a moment to breathe deeply, to ground yourself in the present. This simple act can break the cycle of stress and bring clarity to your next move. Another practice is learning to say no. This might be the hardest part because we're often conditioned to say yes to opportunities, requests, distractions, out of fear of missing out or disappointing others. But saying no isn't selfish. It's an act of self-respect and strategy. When you say no to what drains you, you say yes to what fuels you. This shift changes everything. It protects your energy and allows you to give your best to the battles that truly matter. Over time, these small decisions create a fortress around your well-being, making burnout impossible to breach. Discipline is also key. It's the commitment to yourself that no matter how tempting it is to push beyond your limits, you will honor the rule of balance. This discipline doesn't mean rigid control or harshness. It means respect for your natural rhythms and a deep understanding that rest is a vital part of growth. Build routines that support this balance. Regular breaks, quality sleep, mindful movement, and moments of quiet reflection. These aren't indulgences, they are the sharpening stones that keep your spirit strong and your focus sharp. Remember, this rule isn't about avoiding struggle. Struggle is part of any meaningful journey. But it's about facing struggle with a clear mind and a rested body, so you don't get crushed by it. It's about fighting smart, not just hard. The warrior who burns brightly for a moment and then fades away is no match for the one who sustains their light through years of challenge and change. This is the power of pacing yourself, of honoring the ebb and flow of your energy. It's the secret to a life lived fully and fiercely, without the crash and burn that so many experience. Ultimately, embracing this rule transforms how you see yourself and your path. You move from being a reactive participant in life's chaos to a deliberate creator of your destiny. You cultivate patience, resilience, and wisdom. You understand that your value isn't measured by how much you do, but by how well you preserve and direct your energy. You learn that sometimes the bravest act is to step back, to rest, and to prepare for the next strike with renewed strength and clarity. This is the way of the true warrior, not the one who fights endlessly, but the one who fights wisely. As you begin to live by this rule, you'll notice a shift in how you approach challenges. Instead of rushing headlong into every task or obstacle, you start to move with intention and grace. You learn to read the signs of your body and mind, when your focus sharpens, when your energy wanes, when the moment calls for action or stillness. This heightened awareness is a powerful tool, one that allows you to conserve strength rather than waste it. It's like a seasoned warrior who senses the rhythm of the battlefield and strikes only when the moment is right, not out of desperation or impatience. This kind of timing, this harmony with your own natural flow, is what turns effort into mastery and burnout into resilience. The beauty of this rule is that it honors the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. Burnout often happens when one or more of these areas are neglected. You push your mind without rest, you strain your body without care, or you ignore the quiet voice of your spirit calling for peace. But when you align these three pillars, you build an unshakable foundation. This alignment allows you to face life's demands with clarity and calm, no matter how fierce the storm. Your mind becomes sharp like the edge of a blade, your body steady like the roots of a mighty tree, and your spirit unwavering like a mountain standing tall against the wind. And here's an important truth. This journey isn't about perfection, it's about progress. There will be days when you forget the rule, when exhaustion creeps in and you push too hard. That's part of being human. The key is to return to the principle, to recommit to balance and presence each time you stray. Like a warrior training their sword arm, mastery comes through persistence and grace, not punishment. Be gentle with yourself as you learn to navigate this path. Celebrate the small victories, the moments you chose rest over relentless hustle, clarity over chaos, intention over reaction. Each step forward strengthens your resilience and deepens your wisdom. By living this way, you create a life that's not just about survival but about thriving. You become a force of calm in a noisy world, a steady flame that inspires others rather than burns out trying to light every fire. You find joy not in endless doing but in meaningful being. And the greatest reward? You reclaim your power, the power to decide how you spend your energy, how you respond to challenges, and how you build your legacy. This is the mark of true mastery, the way of the warrior who fights with heart and wisdom, and who lives with balance and purpose. As you deepen this practice, you'll start to notice how the world responds to your shift. When you move with calm confidence and purposeful action, others naturally gravitate toward your energy. They sense the steadiness in your presence, the clarity in your decisions, and the strength that comes from balance rather than burnout. This isn't about controlling others or demanding respect. It's about embodying a way of being that commands attention without effort. Like a great warrior who doesn't need to boast of their skill because it shines through every move, Your energy speaks louder than words. People begin to trust your judgment, follow your lead, and recognize the quiet power of someone who knows themselves deeply and honors their limits. This rule also teaches you the power of adaptability. The warrior who is rigid, who insists on charging forward regardless of circumstances, eventually breaks. But the one who understands the flow of battle, who adjusts their stance, their speed, and their focus according to the moment, survives and thrives. In life, circumstances change constantly. New challenges arise, priorities shift, unexpected storms hit. By practicing this rule, you cultivate the flexibility to respond wisely rather than react blindly. You become like water, soft but strong, yielding yet unstoppable. This adaptability not only protects you from burnout, but propels you forward in ways that brute force never could. At times, this path may feel lonely or misunderstood. In a culture that often glorifies relentless hustle, choosing balance can seem countercultural or even weak. But remember, true strength has always been quiet and steady. The deepest rivers run calm and clear beneath their surface. The mightiest trees weather storms because they bend when necessary without breaking. By committing to this rule, you align yourself with a tradition of mastery that transcends fleeting trends and superficial success. You join the ranks of those who know that endurance, clarity, and purpose are the true marks of greatness. So, as you walk forward from here, I invite you to carry this rule with you. Not as a burden, but as a gift. Let it guide your steps when the road gets rough, remind you to rest when the fire threatens to consume, and steady your heart when doubt creeps in. This is not just a strategy for preventing burnout. It's a way to live deeply, with intention and grace. It's the path of the warrior, who understands that true victory is not in the endless fight, but in the wisdom to choose when to fight and when to rest. Now, as you stand at this crossroads, remember this. Your journey is not defined by how fast you run or how hard you push, but by the wisdom you carry in your heart. There is a fire within you, not meant to burn out quickly, but to blaze steadily, illuminating your path, warming your spirit, and inspiring those around you. You are not here to exhaust yourself chasing every fleeting distraction or battling every windmill. You are here to fight with purpose, to protect your energy, and to honor the sacred rhythm of your life. When the weight of the world feels too heavy, when your spirit whispers that you can't go on, hear this truth. Rest is not surrender. It is strength reborn. It is the quiet courage to choose yourself amid chaos, the deep knowing that your value isn't tied to your constant doing, but to your presence, your intention, and your balance. Embrace the power of pause. Cherish the moments when you step back to breathe, to reflect, and to prepare. These moments are not lost time. They are the soil in which your greatness will grow. You are a warrior of your own life, gifted with the ability to strike with clarity and rest with purpose. You are the keeper of your own flame, the master of your energy, and the author of your story. So fight your battles wisely, rest deeply, and walk your path with unwavering grace. Because when you do, burnout will never claim you. Instead, you will rise, stronger, brighter, and more alive than ever before. Your legacy awaits.